Yeah, I think we can start off with the session, Nikita. Meanwhile, mentees will keep on joining.
Yeah, okay, sure. Hi, everyone, and thanks for joining the call at 12. I know it's weekend and really thankful to see all of you today. So let's get started. Are you all excited for the session? Let me know in the comments. You can type down your responses in the chat. Great, Subin. Okay, so let's get started. So this session is all about the strategies and those hacks to basically, excel in quantitative finance interviews. So we will go over all the secrets and all those tips which can also help you to crack the quant interviews. So let's get started. Something about me. So, hey, I'm Nikita, and I'm currently working as a quantitative researcher in JP Morgan Chase. So, I have over 2+ years of experience in JP Morgan as a quantitative researcher, and I work particularly in the equity derivatives team. And I had graduated from IIT Kanpur in 2021, and my major was electrical engineering. Uh, so I had interned at Samsung and as a software developer, and I had switched to quant domain in my placements. So I have experience of mentoring about more than 1,000 college students as well as professionals for specifically the quant domains through various webinars, one-on-one sessions, and other platforms as well. And I became associated with Preplaced in June. And from then, I had been getting this incredible opportunity to mentor people like you for the quantitative domain. So that's a little bit about me. Okay, so next I would like to learn about you. So I'll be launching few polls. So please give your responses for this. So basically, I'm just asking you 4 questions, like what's your current experience, whether you are a student or like already in your undergrad, or if you're a fresher looking for a job, or you are already working in some domain. It could be a quant domain or some else also. And what are your target roles? Like which roles are you targeting? Software, quant analyst, data analyst, AI, ML, or product management? And what are your target companies, like Mang or product based, service based? And also, like, what's your preparation status? Like, have you just started preparing for some role, or are you, you're prepared, but you have started applying for the jobs? You're at the application stage, or whether you have yeah, you are actually interviewing for some roles. You have already got shortlisted for the roles and you are giving interviews. So you can let me know all of these by answering to these polls. So I'm going to launch the polls. Let me know if they are visible. So these are 4 polls, and please answer each one of them so that I get an idea of my audience.
Guys, if the poll is not visible to you, you can check it out in the activities section in the bottom right.
Okay, so I see some responses. For the first one, what's your current experience? So I see two people have voted for students. They are still pursuing their education, and three votes I see for freshers, and three votes for people working in some other domain. Okay, so I see total eight votes. And for the second one, what are your target roles? So I see one vote for quant analyst, four votes for data analyst, and one vote for product management. Okay. So what are your target companies? Okay. So all of you are targeting product based. That's great. And what about, okay, so have everyone of you answered to the fourth poll, because I only see six votes. But for the first one, I see eight votes. Is someone of stuck there? Like, let me know if you're not able to see the poll or some issue. Okay, now I see more votes. Okay, so for target company, we have one vote for Mang and seven votes for product based. And for preparation status, I see six votes for the preparation stage, one vote for application stage, and two votes for interview stage. Okay, that's great to know. So now that I have a clear idea of my audience, so I guess many of you like must not be knowing about, what is quant domain actually and what quants do. So let's try to you know tackle that first. So let's first discuss about what is quant domain, what is this quant analyst, and even if you have heard these names for the first time, so let's try to understand what are these roles and what is this field all about, right? So quant finance field, it's a very specialized field which requires the knowledge of finance. It requires the proficiency in maths, and as well as it requires the knowledge of programming. So it's a interdisciplinary kind of role where you actually need your skill sets to be better in these three domains. So you should be good at programming, you should be good at maths, and you should also have good amount of knowledge of finance. So it's more inclined towards the math side. And if I talk about these three roles, so you must have heard about quantitative trader, quantitative developer, and quantitative analyst. So quantitative analyst, it's also known as quantitative researcher, and this field, quantitative trader, is sometimes also known as quantitative strategist, right? So algorithmic trader even. So you might find synonymous names for the same role, but they are kind of similar. So we will try to understand what each of these roles mean. So first of all, what is a quantitative analyst or a quantitative researcher? So you can assume they are like the model wizards of finance. They create the models. So when I mean models, so what kind of models? These are basically mathematical models, or more precisely statistical models. So how do they create these models? They analyze the historical data. So data could be something like, the asset price data, historical data of some stock, some underlying, some equity, some commodity, something like that. And then based on that data, they analyze the data, and they have to make the statistical models, some mathematical models. So these models are made out of some stochastic differential equations. So uh, and what do these models, or some models could be actually only probabilistic models. So what do these models do? They try to do some prediction, or they try to measure some kind of risk. So risk would be like something like VAR calculation or credit risk or market risk, something like that. Or they are making some kind of predictions like, okay, so that's how the market will perform or something like that. So you can imagine it like this. So let's say you have, your weather forecast. So which forecast? Okay, so how will be the weather tomorrow, day after tomorrow, based on the data of today's and previous few days weather. So just like that, you are trying to make some prediction, some kind of forecast. And so here what we are doing, we are trying to make a forecast of the loss, the likelihood of loss in the market, in the financial market. So that's the kind of analogy here, right? And next, we try to understand what is the role of a quantitative trader. So you can imagine it like someone who is making trading decisions, and this trade is not like a low frequency trade, but we are executing something at maybe a high frequency or a medium frequency. So you have to, within nanoseconds, you have to take these decisions of okay, so you have to buy, sell, all different kinds of trading decisions you have to make. So for these you need some insights, and who are the ones who are providing the insights? The quant analyst. So the quant analyst, they provide the insights to the quant trader, and then quant traders, they execute the trades in the market. Okay, so within a few nanoseconds they have to quickly make these trading decisions, and they have to make money out of that. So that's the role of a quantitative trader. So just like you are playing chess and you are playing with some very skilled player, and then you have to quickly make your moves, to finally win. So that's the whole idea of the role of the quantitative trader. So next we go to quantitative developer. So by now you would have realized that these trading decisions need to be very fast, and someone is actually analyzing so much of data, and everything is going on within few nanoseconds. So you need very specialized kind of systems which can help you to do tradings in such a quick manner. So you need some specialized kind of low latency systems. Low latency means they are so fast that you can actually trade on them at a high frequency. So quant developers, they are the people, they are those tech architects who are building these trading systems, and they also maintain these trading systems. And on these trading systems, the quant traders, they can use their algorithms, and then they can make these fast trading decisions. So quantitative developer is kind of providing that platform, that trading system, to the quant traders and also the quant analysts to perform all of these trading related operations smoothly and also in a very fast manner. So in all of these roles, you obviously, you would have realized, you need the knowledge of maths, right? And you also need the domain knowledge of finance. And so especially for the developer role, you need to be like very proficient in programming, very good in data structures, algorithms, and in whatever language you are using. So particularly these quant developers, they code in C++, right? So you should be good in C++, you should be good in Python. So these are kind of languages which you should be good at. And even quant analysts, they do all the analysis and everything in Python, or maybe some use R or some other language. But the idea is you do require the knowledge of programming and maths and finance. So which brings us to our next slide. So what exact skill sets will you be tested in a quant interview, right? So this session is all about interviews. So with special focus to interviews, I will be telling you the exact skill sets, the exact areas which you need to focus on to prepare for quant interviews, right? So if you see, so here I've divided the core skill sets which are required for a quant role. So you can see these six, right? So programming skills, which I have already told you. So you need good programming skills. Then in maths, if you see particularly, what do you need? You need to be good at probability and statistics, and you also need to be good at linear algebra, and also your calculus, and you should be good at differential equations, particularly the partial differential equations, because at times you will need to solve the stochastic differential equations. So for that, you need to understand the partial differential equations well. So if some of you guys are in undergrad, then it's a very good opportunity, and you are targeting for quant roles. So focus on these areas of maths in your undergrad: maths, probability, statistics, linear algebra, and the calculus and differential equations. So if you're good at these, then you will these interviews will be a cakewalk for you. And obviously, you need the knowledge of financial markets and trading. So it is not much expected from freshers, but definitely if you have this knowledge, so you will stand out from the rest of the people who are applying for this role. So definitely it makes a difference. So you should have some knowledge about the financial markets, how the markets operate, how trading is done. Some basic knowledge should be there. And if you are a professional, so definitely you should have this knowledge, because then you will be asked questions based on your finance knowledge. Then need some kind of basic skills like analytical skills, logic, reasoning, and your problem solving skills, which is like also covered in your programming skills. And then you need some quantitative skills. So quantitative skills is like you should be good at number crunching. Like quickly you can do some maths, and you should be also good at analyzing data and everything, because you need insights from the data. So your data analysis skills also comes very handy in this role. And apart from all of this, there is this specialized field which is econometrics. So it comes at the budget of economics and mathematics. So it is highly mathematics driven field, and some bit of economics is also involved. So here you basically deal with things like linear regression and other, like, think concepts like correlation, homoscedasticity, and other things. So like hypothesis testing and everything. So econometrics is also an important area which you will be questioned at in your interviews. So these are the core skill sets. And if I like represent these in terms of like which are the ones which are mandatory and which form the foundation and which are like good to have, and third, the final. So for if you are a seasoned professional in this field, so what skills will you require? So if you see at the foundation level, you need coding, you need statistics 101, probability 101, linear algebra. So these are the core skills, which means these are like non-negotiable, these are the prereq. And for every role, you will see these, at least these should be there. So you need to have these skill sets. And if you have, like, you want to stand out from everyone else, then obviously you should devote your time towards like learning about econometrics, learning about machine learning, learning about convex optimization. So these are like those skill sets which are not prereq, but then if you have, then it will be easy for you to crack the quant interviews, to transition into quant role if you are from a different field, and to stand out from other people, right, who will be applying for quant roles. And finally, you, like, if you are a seasoned professional, then you need to be good at quantitative research and trading. So what's this? This is actually the professional domain knowledge. Like once you have worked in this field, so definitely those skill sets you will acquire by time. But that this one is for like people who are already working in this domain, and who are proficient enough, like have some good amount of experience. So their interview is a bit more specialized to the role. Right. So that was all about the skill sets and which areas you need to focus on when you are preparing for a quant interview. I hope that gave you a clear idea. But if you have any questions, so please let me know. I'll wait for your questions.
Guys, you can turn on your mic or either ask through the chat if you have any doubts.
Okay, so Arpit is asking any book recommendations for quant. Arpit, so it will actually, depend on which stage are you at. Like, are you a fresher or so? I can recommend some books, but then it will actually depend on where you currently stand. So, if I assume you're a fresher, then so what are you saying? You have 2 years of experience in data engineering. Okay, okay. See, there are a few books which are written specifically for cracking quant interviews. Like there is a green book and a red book. And apart from that, if you are just a fresher for this role, then you can, read. You can try to solve the book in 50 challenging problems in probability. So that is a good book if you are just starting out as a fresher in this role. And if you are more experienced, then you can go through the green book and the red book. So what are these books? You can just Google it, or if I'll find the link, I'll share with you. Yeah, yeah. This one only is in Fengzu. Yeah, so this is the green book. So there is one more book which is the red book, and these are the only books which you will need for cracking the interviews. Okay, great. Okay, so Subin, you are asking course suggestions from Udemy or Coursera. See, I haven't personally done any courses on Coursera, but you can find some course related to, either probability or statistics, or you can actually find something related to, if you have more time, related to financial engineering or something related to financial markets. That will be helpful. So I don't have a particular course recommendation for you, but you can just find out on Coursera itself, like something related to financial engineering or something related to probability statistics. So that will be, serving as a base for your preparation. Okay, any more questions? Okay, Arpit has one question. Being from a tier 3 college, which kind of firm should I be expecting to report back from for such roles? Um, See, Arpit, you you can apply to hedge funds. You can also try applying to banks, like not the investment banks, but I think you can try to apply for the other banks, and definitely you can apply to hedge funds. So I've seen like hedge funds don't really discriminate people on the basis of college, so you can apply to hedge funds. So there are many of the hedge funds you can see. There is Greenland, there is Kiwi Capital, then there is this Trex Quant and others as well. So you can find out about the hedge funds and you can apply to the hedge funds. So like particularly HFTs are a bit tricky to crack because they do require some constraints on which college you are and all that, but you can definitely apply to hedge funds. So Archikana is asking how much coding is required for quant analyst role. So hi Archikana. uh, I would say, like, if you are a fresher, at least you should, know about data structures and algorithms. If you have done a course, that will be great. And if you can solve like, easy to medium level of questions on lead code, that will be great. You are not expected to solve like the hard questions, but if you can solve easy to medium level of questions, from the lead code, then that should be good enough. And like you can see on lead code, there are so many, interview related questions. You can go through that series. Like I have seen some 100 question series over there, so you can go over those, and that will be all right. Yeah, so Arpit is asking another question. The courses you mentioned, Start 101, Probability Linear Algebra 101, are those from Stanford? So Arpit, no. So I didn't mean from Stanford or some particular college. Why Start 101 and Probability Linear Algebra 101? I meant that, any course which you do in your undergrad in any college. It's not specific to some prestigious colleges or something like that. So any college 101 course, like the first course which you do in probability, the first course which you do in statistics and linear algebra in college, the undergrad courses that I mean. So you can do even though that course which you would have done in your college, like if you have already done, you can just refresh your notes and your questions on those topics. That will be fine. You're welcome, Archikana. Any more questions, guys? Okay, so yeah, you're welcome, Archit. Yusuf is asking, can you guide us how to develop data storytelling skill from scratch? Okay, Yusuf. So, uh, like, are you specifically talking with regards to quant field or like in general? Let me know. What is your question? So, anyways, like storytelling means, so you have, let's say you have some data, and you are trying to find some patterns and insights from your data. So, this could be, through some data visualization tools. And then telling stories means like whatever insights and patterns you have found from the data. So, you tell some kind of compelling story related to that data. Okay, so I mean, that could be any data, but then the whole idea is to express your insights and whatever you have found from the data in a story kind of way. So that's all I can tell you, Yusuf, because I'm not very, experienced in data analyst role. But to answer your question, that is all I can tell you. Any more questions, guys? Yeah, you're welcome, Yusuf. Any more questions, you can feel free to unmute yourself or you can type in your chat. Okay, great. So if there are no more questions, then we can, okay, go back to the slides. So now I will discuss one question. This is a quant interview question. So this is one is picked from Jane Street. So how many of you know about Jane Street? Okay, so when is saying no idea, ma'am. Okay, Aman is saying something. In general, what are the exit options after the role, since many of my seniors didn't want to stay with this role for long term? See, Aman, in terms of exit options, either like let's say you are working in a very good hedge fund, or you're working in some HFT. So in terms of exit options is, now you have a good knowledge of finance, so you can actually transition into maybe some kind of role in a VC is venture capital, or maybe if you want to transition into a role into something called as private equity. So these are some of the exit options, because now as a quant you have like very good skills in terms of making decisions and problem solving. So these are the areas which these VCs and Ps are also looking at. So you can transition to a role in VC or a PE, like after a few years when you have been working as a quant. Or like if you want to do something else, then also you can do. I don't think there is, any such restriction nowadays. It's very easy to transition from roles. Like I have seen people transitioning from like roles from software to product, or from software to data science, or other way around. So the transitions are not that difficult. So either you can make a transition to some other field, or you can maybe try for a VC or a PE. Okay. So Arpit is saying something. Okay, so you are mentioning about Jane Street. Yeah, it's the top player, and they took guys for 400K for Hong Kong location from IITs recently. Yes, yes, Arpit. Yeah, you are right. So Jane Street is one of the best trading firms in the world, and it hires, for a very lucrative salary. So it took few people from IIT Kanpur, IIT Delhi, and IIT Bombay. So for their Hong Kong location, and so this particular question I have picked from their interview set. And okay, so let's maybe you guys give it a try first. I will read out the question for you. You're welcome, Aman. Okay, so I'll read out the question for you, and maybe you can give it a try first before we look at the solution for this, right? So the question is, you have two deck of cards. One has like 13 red and 13 black cards, and the other one has 26 red and 26 black. We play a game in which you select one of the two decks and pick two cards from it. You win the game if you select two black cards. Okay, so you have to pick either of the two decks, and then you pick two cards from that deck, and you have to maximize your chances of winning by selecting two black cards. So if you get two black cards, then you will win the game. So which deck should you choose to maximize your chances of winning? And you can try doing this problem in your head, like without doing calculations. So let me know if someone wants to give it a try. You can unmute yourself. You can explain your approach, or maybe if you don't want that, you can just type down on in the chat your answer. Like what will be your approach for solving this question? Anyone? Okay, like if there are no responses, okay, so I'll just go ahead. So before discussing about the solution, I will actually, tell you some strategies how to tackle any quant question. So, in quant interviews, you will be bombarded with uh, some difficult, some easy, but some kind of mathematical probability statistics related questions, or maybe something else also, like maybe a data structure question or something like that. But what's the strategy to actually solve such questions? So how will you approach any quant question with confidence, like you're able to solve them under so much of pressure? So let's first discuss about that. So I will be telling you a step-by-step process by which you can solve any quant question. So I have listed here 10 steps which I think are essential to solving any quant question in any kind of interview, right? So step one, if you see, you have to understand the problem. Like whatever question you are given, you think about the problem statement, you think about the question, and you understand, okay, so what you are trying to solve here. What, okay, so maybe it could be, it is a strategy related problem, or if it is a mathematical problem which you have to solve. So try to find out the areas which it relates to. Okay, so first step is, to identify how you can solve the problem and which area of maths does it particularly relate to. So step 1 is understanding the problem. Then step 2 is defining the variables. Like, you can define the variables. So if it is a probability problem, then you can look at specifically the random variables which are there in the problem. Or if it is some other mathematical problem also, then you can try to define the variables, because doing this actually helps you to, it gives you a head start towards solving that problem, and it makes things much more clear in your mind. So, step 3 is use mathematical theorems, axioms, or any concept or formula. So, like whatever your problem is, you try to see which theorem or which axiom you can apply, or which concept or formula you can apply to solve this, right? So, identifying the concept, identifying the theorem which you will apply to solve. So, that makes your work around half, right? So to solve that problem, so identifying these concepts and formulas and theorems. So this will be your third step. Now fourth step is, maybe you can draw a diagram or some kind of visual representation of your problem, because when you will visualize the problem, it becomes easy to think, okay, so what should be my next step. So maybe how can I, okay, so I have, identified the problem, I have written down the variables, I have identified which theorem or concept I can apply here, and now I have uh, made a visual representation of my entire problem. So it will become easy for me to think about the next steps. So how, further you can solve that problem. So step 5 is basically to formulate equations or expressions. So let's say still it is not very clear. So now next step is, you can try to formulate certain equations. So whatever knowledge, whatever information you have, and whatever knowledge you have about the theorems and concepts, you can try to formulate certain equations, certain expressions. So once you have those equations and expressions, now the next step would be to simplify the problem. Now based on these equations and expressions, try to see whether you can reduce that problem, whether you can more simplify that problem, right? So this is your sixth step. Now the seventh step would be to calculate this. So whatever you have, the reduced problem, you try to solve it step by step. Step by step you apply different methods and try to see how you will calculate that thing. Now the eighth step would be to use certain relevant techniques or theorems. So maybe it can be that it's not easy to solve that problem. Like even if you have reduced it and even if you're trying to solve it, at some step you might need some technique, some theorem to solve that problem. So next step would be to thinking about those relevant techniques and theorems. And next step, you think about it, that what can be the edge cases or the boundary conditions for this problem. So a boundary condition, you see, if you would have solved some PDs and all, so boundary conditions become important there. And edge cases, like you're trying to solve some, unique kind of mathematical problem. So think about the edge cases which you can get there. So try to, analyze your problem from a 360-degree angle. Like don't leave anything. Try to think about it from all possible angles, and you also consider the edge cases, the boundary conditions and everything. And once you have done all of this, once you have found your final answer, so you have to, communicate your entire thought process, your entire approach to solving this problem, and your final answer to the interviewer, right? So final is, what matters is also how you present your answer, how you communicate your thoughts, how you explain the entire approach of solving the problem to the interviewer. So that is the 10th step. So by following these 10 steps, you can actually solve any kind of problem, be it, related to probability statistics, linear algebra, or even if it is a differential equation, partial differential equation problem, or some other kind of mathematical puzzle which you feel is like very difficult to solve. So all of that can be, solved in this approach if you follow. So if you have any questions, you can ask me. Okay, if there are no questions, let's go ahead with the solution to that problem, the previous problem which we had just discussed. So you have deck of two decks of cards, and first deck has like 13 red and 13 black cards, and the second one has 26 red and 26 black cards. And now you're playing a game, and in that game you have to pick either of the deck, and you pick two cards from the deck, and if you get like two black cards, then you win the game. So how will you maximize your chances of winning this game? See, so let's assume I picked the deck one. So deck one is the one which has like 13 red and 13 black cards. So if you select this deck, then what is your probability of drawing the first black card? Obviously, so you have total 26 cards and 13 black cards. So it's 13 by 26, which is 1 by 2, right? Now, you have picked one black card. Now, what is the probability that the second card will also be black? So in first draw, you have already drawn a black card. Now you are left with 12 black cards and total 25 cards in the deck. So the probability of picking the second black card would be 12 by 25. So what is the overall probability? You can apply the theorem, which is, multiplication of two events in the probability, because this is like an and event. So you will need to multiply the two events, probability of two events, which is to get the black card in the first draw and to get the black card in the second draw. And if you multiply these, so your final probability will be like 6 by 25. And if you, let's say you pick the second deck, so second deck, it has 26 red and 26 black cards. So let's say you pick this one, so what will be your probability of picking one black card, right? In the first draw, picking the black card, so it will be nothing but 26 by 52, because you have 26 black cards and total are 52 cards. So it's again 1 by 2, right? Now here, what is the probability of getting the black card in the second draw? So you have already drawn one black card now, and now you are left with 25 black cards and 51 total cards. So what's the probability of picking the black card in the second draw? It will be 25 by 51. So now what is your overall probability of winning? So that is, you get black card in the first draw as well as you get the black card in the second draw. So here it's an and operation. You have to multiply the two events, probability of two events. So it becomes, the final probability is 1 by 2 into 25 by 51, which is 25 by 102, right? So now if you compare these two probabilities of the deck 1 and deck 2, so you will realize that 6 by 25, it's greater than 25 by 102. So definitely you will have a maximum chances of winning in case you pick deck 1, which has 13 red and 13 black cards, right? So, do you have any, uh, you know, queries related to this? Any doubts in the solution? Anything which you are unable to understand? Let me know. Okay, so if there are no questions, let's go ahead. Okay, so the next slide is, like what kind of salaries can you expect at an entry level role? So this is one of the role where you require, so much of knowledge, so much of uh, proficiency in skill sets, like you need good skill sets in terms of maths, you need good skill sets in terms of programming, you need knowledge of finance. So definitely, when you need so many skill sets, so definitely your salary would be, on the higher side. So this is one of the role which, pays better salary in terms of all the other roles which are out there. Like it's better than software, and it's better, like it's, I think, par with data science, or some, in some cases it's better than data science as well. So the if we see a general trend of the salary for the entry level roles I'm talking about, you are a fresh grad and you are applying to a role related to quantitative research. So you can also, verify these numbers from Glassdoor or other sites as well. So I have picked from one such site. So for investment banks, it's around like 30 LPA to 38 LPA. This is in India. So if you see, the most of the investment banks, they would be paying their quants in this range as a fresh grad. And if you look at the salary for the hedge funds, so in India, it's somewhere around, 45 to 70 LPA. So you must be knowing about the different hedge funds, I suppose. Like there is World Quant, there is Millennium, then you have Trex Quant and others as well. So these are the ones which are paying in this bracket. And if you see, like if you're applying to a hedge fund and abroad, so abroad salaries are also like pretty great. So somewhere around like 175K to 300K dollars. And if I talk about the high frequency trading firms, so they are the giants who are paying like the most lucrative salaries. And also it's, quite difficult to crack these kind of roles. And if you see their salaries in India, it's from 60 LPA to 1.2 crores in India itself, at as a fresh grad. And like when you get some experience, so here your bonuses are quite high. Like 2-3 years down the line, if you are, doing very well, then you can even earn like 100% bonus. So that's like whatever is your base salary, so that much will be your bonus. So you'll be earning twice of this amount. And in abroad, it's like 1 cr to 4 cr. So 4 cr, the Jane Street which I had just mentioned, so Jane Street is paying this much in abroad. So next I will discuss a little bit about how I cracked my JP Morgan quant interview. So I had applied for this during my campus placements. So first step was to apply on the company portal. So we had to fill our applications for this role. So you just need to, fill your entire education, skill sets, and any internship experience. And then the second part was they did a resume shortlisting. So they had a criteria of 7 CGPA, and whoever had this crossed this barrier of CGPA, they all were shortlisted. And finally, we had a test assessment. It was an online assessment, and it basically, comprised of some questions, some MCQs related to maths, the maths topics which I had already, discussed with you. So which are the areas they asked, and some so there were like two coding questions. For coding questions were not difficult. They were, on the easy to moderate side. And that was all about the online assessment. So people who had cleared the online assessment, they were invited for the interviews. So like I had 3 rounds of technical interviews where I was asked, questions, different questions related to my courses, which I have done in maths, and also related to data structures and algorithms. Then some questions related to, mathematical puzzles as well. So these were the general areas on which I was interviewed on. Then we had like a general discussion on what is this role all about, and like how will my career look like in this role. And so it was like a general discussion. And then I had one HR interview. So post that, I was given the job offer, and that's how I had cracked JP Morgan interview. So this was the four-step procedure. If you have any doubts in this, please let me know. Okay, so I see some question from Arpit. Can I expect sponsorships from European firms? According to me, I don't think they divide the requirements into college tiers. Yes, Harpreet. Yes, they don't they don't discriminate on the basis of college and everything. So you can definitely apply to European hedge funds if you are, targeting those. And so all they need is, very good skill sets. So if you can improve your skill sets, and if you are being very proficient at maths, at coding, at finance, then definitely you can apply for these firms. So, not just in Europe, you can apply in Hong Kong, in Singapore, you can apply in New York as well. So, there are many options like outside India as well if you want to explore those. Any other question, guys? Just a weird question. Okay, from Aman. So I have a PPO from a firm where I interned. I am satisfied with it, but since I am now blocked from on-campus opportunities, how to explore similar offline opportunities even with firms that come on campus? Hi, Aman. Okay, so let's assume you can't apply on campus, but you know which are the firms, right? So you can apply off campus as well. So for that, you can try to connect with people who are already working in these firms, and try to ask them if there are any internal openings, if there are any, job openings in their firms. And you can try to, even if there are not, then you can just share your interest. You can share your enthusiasm that you would be interested to join the firm, and you can share your profile, your resume as well. So let's say even if there is no requirement right now, but maybe like in next 2-3 months, you might get an opportunity. So at that point, you will be interviewed for the roles. So I would say, just try to find people who are working there, if they are your college seniors, or if not, like you can, try to develop some kind of professional relationship with the people who are already working there. Like you can just send a polite mail to them, and you can, try to build some network through your LinkedIn. And then you can just express your interest, even if there are like no open roles right now. Like if they get some open roles in future, they will definitely contact you. So right now you can, start with whichever firm you have got the PPO from, and after that you can transition to the quant role. I hope that helps. Any other question from anyone? Okay, thanks, Aman. Anyone else? Okay, if no questions, then I'll just move forward. So, guys, now I will talk about a little bit about Preplaced and my mentorship at Preplaced. So, how I am going to help you through my mentorship. See, so I assume most of you are here who are looking for a job, and finally you want to be job ready, right? So you want to crack your dream roles in quant analyst or quant trader profiles or quant developer profiles. And if you are targeting these firms, so definitely through my long term mentorship, I can, whatever I can help you with upskilling, with applying to different firms, providing you insights on how to stand out from the crowd and how to crack your interviews and everything. So, I will just talk about this briefly in this slide. So, about the long term mentorship. So, what I do here is I provide a entire roadmap. So the roadmap will be very much personalized to everyone. So obviously, because all of you are from different backgrounds and you're at different level, so it doesn't make sense to have a common strategy. So your preparation strategy, your entire roadmap for cracking these roles, it will be, very personalized to each one of you. And I will be discussing with all of you, like whoever is interested in joining my long term mentorship program. So I will be discussing with you what are your skill gaps, which areas you need assistance, and maybe if you need to start your preparation from scratch. So I will be helping you out with regards to your preparation, from right from understanding what to prepare, how to prepare, and from where to prepare. So from where to prepare, like I will help you with identifying the right resources. How to prepare, I will be telling you the right preparation strategy. And I will be also telling you like how much duration you will require to prepare, and how you should, divide your entire preparation into small steps, small milestones, and how you can complete your entire preparation in the minimum possible time in the most efficient manner. So, I will be helping you out by clearing all your doubts, and I will be following up with you regularly in my long term mentorship. So I will be not only, teaching you certain concepts like related to maths, related to finance, related to coding, but we will be actually, doing some problem solving in our sessions. So I will be discussing with you certain questions. So we will have to together solve those questions. This way you will be developing your problem solving skills. And I will be also assisting you with a project. So like it can happen that many of you don't have a project yet in the field of quantitative finance. So I will be helping you out uh, in guiding you in doing a project. And we will be doing this project for the entire duration of your long term mentorship program. And so, along with teaching you concepts, upskilling you, discussing with you, different problems in our problem solving sessions, and also guiding you in the long term project. I will be also clearing all your doubts, and I will be giving you some time bound assignments so you can assess yourself, and you can identify areas where you are lagging behind and where you need additional help and additional practice. And that's how we will develop your skill sets. And I will also be, helping you to prepare your resume from scratch. I will be giving you all the tips how you can make your resume ATS friendly, how you can improve your resume, like how can you make it more impactful, more impressive, and how can you make your resume to reflect your entire personality, your skill sets, your all the experiences, and how you can stand out from the rest, and how you can get shortlisted to maximum roles, to maximum companies. So this is all which I will cover in the preparation stage. So next, in the application stage or the interview stage, I will be helping you out, giving you the company specific guidance. So this particular company focuses on these areas, and I will be helping you how you can apply for different companies in a much efficient manner. And I will be also taking some mock interviews. Like I generally take 4 mock interviews for my long term mentees, but if you require more, then we will do that as well. So we will be doing mock interviews. I will be helping you out with certain interview techniques, so how you can excel your interviews, which particular techniques can help you, you know crack your interviews and excel your interviews. And I will also be giving you the placement assistance. So we have, mentors here at Place, as well as I have my network on LinkedIn of different people who are working in different firms as a quantitative trader or a quantitative researcher. So I will help you out with all the referrals in the companies in which you are looking to apply for. and you will get all the placement assistance. I will also be, helping you before your interviews. So with tips how you can ace your interview. And then finally, when you crack roles, I will be helping you in your salary negotiation rounds as well. So how you can negotiate a very good salary for you in the off campus roles, and how you can sell your skills at a much lucrative, at a high price. So that's about the salary negotiation. And I will be also helping you, guiding you throughout your journey from preparation to final interview. I will be providing you all the emotional support, and I will be also, doing your career counseling, so analyzing if this particular offer will be right for you, or this particular company will be right for you, and how we can actually make your career, in the best possible manner. We can decide like what will be better for your career growth. So I will be helping you out in those decisions as well. So this is the general idea of the long term mentorship program. And you can basically, book a trial session with me to learn more about the long term mentorship. And I will try to listen to your problems, I will try to understand your problems and address those problems, and we can, make a rough roadmap for you in the trial session itself. And we can work out on a strategy so that you can start with the long term mentorship from me for cracking the quant interviews and quant roles in your dream companies. So this is the trial free trial session which is there on Preplace. You can visit Preplaced and you can search for my name, and then you can book a free trial session with me. So it will be a 30-minute trial session where I will be discussing with you, and you will be telling me your, your situation, like which are the areas you need help with. Uh, so whatever is your particular situation, based on that I will be giving you my guidance, and then we can, start with our long term mentorship. Yeah, so that was all. If you have any questions related to my long term mentorship, please let me know. Okay, so I see some questions from Arpit. Hey Nikita, can you take up the last question from me? Hi Arpit, can you repeat your question? I think I have covered your question. Okay, no. So this one. Okay, so for quant developer role, one should be having good knowledge about DS and C++. What about Python? Should I be having good amount of knowledge on OOPS, or what aspects should I be diving into for Python? See, Arpit, it depends. So I would say you definitely need to have data structures knowledge, but which language you would choose, like it depends more on the firm. So there are some firms who will require you to be a Python developer, and some firms would require to be a C++ developer. So it would, finally boil down to which firm you're applying for, but it's definitely good to have knowledge of both these languages. And yeah, definitely the OOPS knowledge will be very beneficial when you're applying to a quant developer role. And for Python also, you should be good with OOPS, you should be good with libraries such as NumPy, pandas, scikit-learn, and if you have some knowledge of doing data analysis as other things in Python, so that will really help you. Yeah, and for C++, you would already be knowing like OOPS and everything. If you have, some projects in C++, then that will definitely give you an edge. I hope this helps. Or if you want me to, cover anything else, then let me know. Okay, so one more question from Archikana. Hi, Archikana. How do you got to know about the job opening on company portal, and how to get your resume shortlisted on company portal, because mine never does. So, Archikana, maybe your resume would not be, that great or maybe something is lagging in your resume, because if it is not getting shortlisted in any company's portal, then definitely you need to rework on your resume. So this is one area. And regarding your other questions, so how did I get to know about the job opening on company portal? See, so many of the openings are there either on LinkedIn jobs or other online portals, but there are a few set of openings which are there on company portals. So what you need to do is you need to check the company portals. Let's say you are doing your preparation, like in your preparation stage only, you can start looking at those companies which you are targeting, and you can have an idea, and even you can talk to people who had applied to same roles as you, like, and who have actually cracked those roles. So you can ask them that in which particular month they hire the freshers. So for freshers, it's kind of fixed that in a particular month they hire the freshers, but for experienced people, it happens like it goes on throughout the year, so as and when there is a requirement. So for experienced people, it's not a specified month, you can say, where there will be openings. It is more of an uncertain process, and you will have to actually figure out from some portal. But for freshers and the job openings for the fresh grads, so those basically come in a particular month, and you can keep track of those months by talking to people who had applied and cracked for those roles. And you can maintain your own database related to different firms dates, so when do the applications come and when you have to apply for, right? So that's the answer to your other question. Let me know if you guys have any other questions. Yeah, thank you, Archikana. I'm happy to answer your question. So one more from Arpit. How much use of SQL do you have? So Arpit, see, it really depends on firm to firm. I don't use SQL on a daily basis, but I have used SQL, quite a few times in my role. So definitely, when you have to fetch some data, or then you definitely use need to use SQL from a database. Have you studied any specific maths courses? Okay, so I already told you the maths courses which you should study. So these are the only ones which you need to study. Like apart from that, I haven't, studied anything else. The only ones which I already told you, like probability statistics, linear algebra, calculus, partial differential equations. So these are the only courses, and these I had studied in my undergrad. So I didn't do, any other course as such. But let's say if you haven't done in your undergrad, then maybe you can try doing these courses from, Udemy, Coursera, or any other online website. Okay, Arpit is saying thanks for the session and for helping with the questions. It was a great session. Thank you so much, Arpit. And thank you everyone, each one of you, for dialing in for the session and making it a success, and for asking so many questions. I'm really helpful. This session was uh, very full of insights, and it was a great session for you to learn something new, even if you haven't explored this area, this domain. Then I hope you would have got some idea of what this domain is all about, what kind of skill sets you need, and I have given you a clear idea on how to crack the interviews as well. So I would urge you to, book a free trial session with me on Preplace and try to understand, like, how can I add value to your preparation and your application, and how I can help you to crack your dream roles in your quant firms. So I will definitely be happy to answer all your queries there in the trial session, and then we can start with the long term mentorship to help you track your dream roles. And it was really nice talking to all of you, and really, like, I'm very happy to see so much of enthusiasm from you guys, and it was really great for me as well interacting with all of you. Thank you so much, guys.